Hi guys, it's Michelle Patterson here with Angel Souls, and this is your weekly Angel Oracle card reading for the week beginning January 9th, 2017. For this week, we're going to be using the Archangel's Oracle deck by Doreen Virtue, and of course pulling a card from the Healing Oracle Crystal Reading Cards by Rochelle Sharman. Someone corrected me, it is Sharman, so there's that. I wanted to just let you know this video is going to be getting up a little bit later than normal. I don't have my usual lighting on me, and I just wanted to let you know what's going on. Yet again, I was kept up all night by my neighbors upstairs. I was going to record where my setup is, but they're banging around the entire apartment, so I'm crammed into this one little spot, hoping to capture some natural light, but this might be a little dark, so I do apologize. I'll see if I can fix that a little bit later. But if you wouldn't mind sending some positive energy my way to help me find very, very quickly a beautiful, quiet, clean, safe home that I can easily and effortlessly afford, and to get there easily and effortlessly, like I want to be in a new house I want to buy it by the end of February of this year. I would love that. By the end of next month, that would be amazing, because, you know, and there was going to be this whole big long message, and maybe that will still come out, so bear with me here. But we're going to talk about spiritual sidestepping this week as well, and then, you know, us being called to action to put peace and love into the world. But let's, you know, set this up first. Most of you know that everybody has their struggle out there, right? And my struggle has been finding where I belong and trying to get in with people that I harmonize with. And I know a lot of people have said, you know, oh, well, if you just change your energy, you know, law of attraction and all that stuff, that's that spiritual sidestepping stuff that we're going to get into. But I think I'm at that place, especially for 2017. I, as a human being, if I'm going to continue to run Angel Souls and be a medium, I need proper sleep. I need peace. I need quiet. I need to be able to meditate. And this just isn't happening here. You know what I mean? So it's taken a lot of effort to just maintain so that I can do the work that I have to do. So I think if I can find a home, and if you guys don't mind supporting me and sending some good energy my way, that would be very, very helpful. Again, there's no guarantee that you get into a house and you're going to have complete quiet, but you know, at least I can attempt that. If you want to support me by getting a personal reading, or on Patreon, or by going to Gumroad, it's gumroad.com/angelsouls for courses, extra videos, all that stuff. That's how I make my income, right? I know some people had some questions if I have like another job. Since the day I started Angel Souls, this is what I've been doing. So if you want to support me in that way, that's always very, very helpful as well. Now, I do want to address the Gumroad thing really quickly. I purposely don't put specific links in the description box for, like, you know, if it's January Aquarius, I don't put the link for Aquarius in there. Reason being is I want you to be able to have access. I don't know what your rising sign is. So if you just go to my page, maybe you want to hit up a video from last month just to see what played out for you. Maybe you want to get a course. Maybe you want to download a meditation. That way you can see all the offerings. That's why I put the link in there the way that I do. Okay, so I had some questions on that. So, did we get everything, guys? All right, hit me. Let's get into this. I'm a little, you know, because of all the stuff that's been happening. But let's start this week by just explaining that you're going to have the kind of energy, okay, where we might be having conflict. We might be having arguments. We might be just fed up, right? Fed up and ready to release what we feel we don't deserve anymore. All right, let's talk about spiritual sidestepping, because as we approach this week and this sort of potentially, you know, it's not going to be tumultuous for everybody, but there might be something that comes up, you know, especially towards the middle of the week, that you wish you didn't have to deal with, right? Maybe things will come to a head with me and my neighbor, who knows? But, you know, whatever it is for your particular situation, we have to make sure that we are no longer spiritually sidestepping. The reason why I share so much of, you know, it's not comfortable for me to share private stories, but the reason why I do that is, number one, it's my point of reference, and that's how I can explain certain messages that are coming through, but also to let you know that I'm human too. So you're familiar with my story, like I said, of my home and trying to figure out where I belong and, you know, trying to find peace in my surroundings. And I remember when I was having my last neighbor, she, you know, she's in her 20s, and she's very much of the selfie generation because she was very selfish and it was all about her, and she had this sense of entitlement and actually lacked empathy. And so in that situation, I was being harassed, and then she brought a boyfriend on who was harassing me. So I had to move. Basically, I felt for my own safety, if not for my physical safety, for my mental safety, because these people were just, not loving on me whatsoever, and that's okay. But, as I was going through all that, there was someone who, I want to be delicate about this, who came out, and I didn't ask this person for advice. I didn't, and that's the number one thing. Don't be a spiritual know-it-all. Don't go around projecting your insecurities on other people when it comes to spirituality, okay? And let me tell you what I mean by that. So this person, unsolicited, just came up and said, well, obviously you're attracting this in, so you should figure out what you're doing to attract these bad situations in. Okay. So number one spiritual person or teacher type person speaking to another one that way, it's condescending. But also, that is so cookie cutter spirituality. Okay. So this whole law of attraction, is the law of attraction real? Of course it is. But we're also contending with shifting world energies. We are dealing with, violent situations. As I record this, I just had to turn off my TV because the Fort Lauderdale airport thing is happening. I will catch up with that later. Of course, I sent out prayers. I encourage you to do that as well. But I'm not even sure what's going on with that. But, we're all dealing with these global shifts that are affecting us on an individual level. And then people who do, this is the big message for this week, who need the empathy, who need the love, who need the peace and the support. This one-size-fits-all spiritual regurgitation of something you read in a book by a big author ain't going to cut it. And the feeling I'm getting from them, I'm going to put this into human terms, it was cute for a while, but now it's done. All right. So we're being asked to evolve. And so this might involve you just having to put your own needs aside for a moment and maybe tune into something that's going on in the world. Or maybe, somebody who means well and they have been going through the struggle and you haven't been giving them enough support, or you've tried to give them support again by just regurgitating something you read in a book. It's time for us to connect into one another. Okay? It's time for us to regain that. Again, we're in a very selfie kind of time right now where people, hi YouTube, I love you. But there are some people who are purely, like the big people out there, they're famous for being on social media. Okay? So everyone's a star through social media now. Everybody has that, diva energy kind of going through them. So we've lost contact with one another. We're so focused on, what am I doing? What's my love life going to look like this week? What is my career going to be like? What is my health going to be like? I have my own issues too. And then it's like we get to this place where we absolutely don't know what to do when someone else needs a helping hand. I'll give you another example. Another personal one, which is not comfortable, but I'm not going to tell you too much. But I just realized today, I don't remember what the exact day was, but this month is the 10-year anniversary of a time that I broke away from an incredibly abusive relationship. We had a wedding planned. This person had me under their utter and absolute control. So much so that I never would have left that relationship if that person had not cheated on me. Okay? So when that person cheated on me, as painful as it was, as much as I didn't know myself, as much as I felt and believed, because this person brainwashed me to think that I was nothing without him, I ended it. And I would have told the poor sucker that I was canceling the wedding, but he was too busy with his new girlfriend and wouldn't take my phone calls. Sorry about it. So anyway, that happened, but that was me finally taking a stand and taking my life back, and that was 10 years ago. And when that was occurring, yes, I went through a depression. Yes, again, it's too much to get into. Maybe it's a whole other video about recovering from abuse when you're in a relationship. You see, I'm okay now, right? I'm good. But at the time, someone who was very, very close to me, a week after this happened, now mind you, I was devastated. Didn't know who I was, didn't know what I was going to do, really hadn't come out of the brainwashing phase. yet. I hadn't reclaimed myself yet. And this person who loves me rolled her eyes and said, oh my God, move on, get over it. I'm so sick of hearing about this. Okay, now I'm sharing that with you because we all feel pain, right? So we need that commonality, because that story, I'm sure all of you have a similar something, something that's occurred in your world that, you had to get away from. But it's time for us to now, I'm sorry, it's coming in. Let me just get it here. They're recapping. 1, break away from what you think you know. That was just to get you open. That was just to get you started. People are now trying to base whole businesses on, oh, if you just do X, Y, and Z, and I can teach you how, then your whole life is going to be different. You're going to, have riches, and you're going to have, for men, you're going to have all these hot women around you, or, or if you're a woman and you're into that, all these hot women around you. We're being asked to cut it out. Yeah, we're being asked to cut it out because it's not going to work anymore. And don't you want to be free of it? I know I do. And who you thought you were going to be, that might be shifting and changing as well. I always thought I would be an author. You guys heard me talking about that book, Matronia. Well, something happened in 2016 where I felt like I was kind of scammed around my book, and now I'm wondering if I even want to put it out there, because it's just, there's been too many obstacles in the way. And so the message that they're bringing through is like, when everything feels like it's in a jumble, the harder you try to straighten it out, the harder you try to make sense of it, put your philosophy around it, the harder you try to do that, the more off track you're going to become. And the more selfish you're going to become. Why? Because now you're scared. You're hunkering down. You don't want to connect to anybody else. You don't want to care about their problems, because you ain't got the energy. And yeah, I said ain't, okay? I'm well versed on grammar. Thank you all very much. People leave comments about that. Anyway, that's just an aside. But, we actually were broken in that way. And this is the week where you're going to have to put all your own nonsense aside and maybe be there for someone else. Or put all your nonsense, and I have nonsense too, I say all of us have to put our nonsense aside and just put your hands over your heart. And seriously, I just did this the other night. I was so taken by a certain story that was happening. And I do this often. I have this moment where I just want to kind of talk to God. I talk to God all the time. God, source, creator, whatever you call it. And I said, I want to be of more service. Like, I want to take it to the next level. I don't want to just talk about the same old. Like, how can I be better? How can I serve better? And this very simplistic answer came forward. And it wasn't like I heard it. It wasn't like it was clear cut. I just went with my instincts. And I went into the quietest place I could find in my home. And I just put on some music. And I put my hands over my heart, and I encourage you to do this as well, because this is what we're leading up to, okay? This is what we're all being called to do right now. I put my hands over my heart, and I went into a meditation, and I pictured every person that I had heard of who might need some love. And I imagined my love going out to every child, every person who has experienced trauma and hurt, and taking that part of me, which is... if you take care of yourself, and if you find a way to take care of yourself, can be ever regenerated, right? Because divine love is in endless supply. And I imagined my love flowing out and just blanketing them. And as I was doing this, I literally felt, especially the children, I felt them responding. I felt them almost clinging on to me, which is interesting, because another big change and shift that's been happening for me is like, I kind of want a family. I kind of want to be a parent. And I didn't know that I wanted that until very recently. And yeah, again, I know the time is running out a little bit on that. But, I felt these children accepting my love. And I was almost witnessing through feeling their healing. But, healing is kind of like a human term. It was more their remembering. and them coming out of their pain story a little bit. And I realized I'm already a parent, whether I have a child of my own or not, simply because I'm looking out for them. I'm looking out for the children of the world, and I'm looking out for the inner child within everybody and flowing my love to them. And I want to say too, I lit this candle, and I sort of put my intention on that candle that every time that's lit, it's sending more and more love and peace out to everybody who is being traumatized right now, and to anybody who might be hurting, which is pretty much everybody. I mean, if you're in human skin, you are here to experience the wide range of emotions, right? So I think, again, that's why we choose to be in certain situations. It's all that same stuff that we've always heard of, yes, to challenge ourselves. But we're asked to, especially this week, okay? It's not about coming from the brain and logging in, reading all the books and then logging and going, I know what to do when this happens. The spiritual community says I'm supposed to do X, Y, and Z. You're not a robot, okay? You are a soul in a human body. You need to act like one, okay? So again, try that meditation, whatever kind of way you want to do it, but really flow that love out, okay? For me, it was really hitting the children, and I had heard some stories of people who were disabled, okay, and sort of what they've been going through. So I really flowed a lot of love towards them, flowing some love towards the teenager, the intellectually disabled teenager who went through his trauma this past week. Flow some love to him. Flow the love, people. And the most beautiful thing in the world is when it starts coming back. And don't do it just for that, but be open to it if it should occur. Okay, it will come back to you. So, anything else on that, guys? We all need to step up our game. This is a call to action for everybody. Okay. Now, it's very easy. I started off this whole video going, can I get into a different environment? And that happens. And yes, there's nothing wrong with wanting to change your surface level situation. But at night, the first thing I meditate about is love and peace. If I haven't fallen asleep yet, then I'll try to manifest a house. But put your own stuff aside this week a little bit. Focus on the love. Focus on the peace. Okay. Flow the love. We all need to be doing this. We all have to be pinging in our hearts. We need to activate that higher heart. Start acting like the true godly soul that you are. Okay? Now, if you're not in a space to do that, that's okay. You can always start with meditation about self-love and then work from there. Sorry, I'm going to have to edit that out. I felt like I was having like a malfunction with something on my face. like I felt something tickling me. I'm like, what is that? I just stopped the video. I'm like, I gotta get this. It's gonna distract me. Sorry, but we're back now. There's the first card. Overcoming difficulties. Okay, so important. But overcoming difficulties not by coming from here and going, I'm gonna use all my tools and I'm just gonna, we're beyond that now. I know that sounds crazy and that might offend some people who really hang on to that with both fists and say, no, this is the way. Because you don't want to feel like all your studying went to waste, right? Okay. But again, all that study served you at that time. Everything I know about angel mediumship, I'm ready to learn more. I'm ready for them to give me more of an assignment. So break open this week, guys. Okay, be open to that. Healthy lifestyle, yeah, reducing stress. All is well, everything will be okay, but we got to change our approach. The last card we brought out here is remember who you are, which is exactly what we've been talking about here, about getting back in touch with your soul. And let everything else fall into place. I don't know if I made that clear enough. Let everything else kind of fall into place the way that it needs to. Okay? First card, overcoming difficulties. Now we do have two, do we? Yeah, we have two Jeremiah cards here. So Jeremiah is all about life review. Look at where you've been. Look at the approach you've always taken. And this isn't about, is it working? Because look at my abundant life. Do you understand the message? It's not about that. It's not about looking at what is the physical outcome of everything that I've done. Where's the reward? No, it's not about that. It's how harmonized do you feel? Do you feel like you've done enough? Do you look at the world and see any other place where you can be of service? And I would encourage you to have that discussion with God too. Have it the moment you watch this video. How can I serve? How can I do more? Okay. So it's, Archangel Jeremiah. The worst is now behind you and you are surmounting any previous challenges, because mostly you're realizing it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter. There are so many other more important things to be putting your energy into. But again, as we'll see here, that doesn't mean to ignore yourself. Let me make that very clear. Okay? Doesn't mean you can't want a house, because I know I need that to be healthy. This is not a healthy situation. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to open your heart up and get ready for love. No, do that, okay? Because that's going to help you activate your soul as well. But if you're out there just trying to manifest somebody to be with, well, you can do that another time, okay? We have more important things on deck right now, okay? Now, finding our joy. Here we go. No matter what. Healthy lifestyle, Archangel Raphael. Excuse me. This is also heart healing as well. So eat a healthful diet, get adequate sleep. Get adequate sleep and exercise regularly for optimal health. Do the things that you need to do, but in the spirit of, okay, this is how I'm going to serve. In order for me to do that, I need to be in this healthy state, and this is what I need to be healthy. For some of you, it's companionship. It might be getting out of a toxic job. So sorry. Getting out of a toxic job, or, finally going to the doctor and accepting that health diagnosis. I just got one. Rattled my world. I'm okay, but I have to make some strides to make sure I'm okay. But again, it's not like I sat around going, poor me, oh my gosh, that's such a hard thing. I'm going to have to do all these things differently and blah, blah, blah. It wasn't about that. My vision is shifting. I can feel it. And I think it's going to be like this for a lot of you too, or maybe you're already experiencing it, especially through 2017, where I'm looking at it going, okay, well, if I'm going to serve the way that I have promised to serve, then X, Y, and Z needs to happen over here. That means taking care of my body, okay? Taking care of my mental and emotional self, and spiritually, of course. But, working on the things that you need for you in order to serve in the way that you came here to serve, overcoming difficulties, but mainly because of the shift of perception, okay? All is well. Don't be afraid to shift this perception. It will serve you. It will serve you well. It's Archangel Jeremiah again. Everything is happening exactly as it is supposed to. With hidden blessings, you will soon understand. The search for meaning. Yes? Oh my goodness. Every time, it's like a game out there. Every time something's happening, I need to know the why. I want to know the why. Again, what's that about? Well, that's kind of old-fashioned spiritual thinking, right? Where everything has to have a reason, everything has to have a purpose. I agree with that, but you have to sit here and drive yourself crazy figuring out what it is. To some extent, for, when it comes to not repeating a lesson, then yeah, okay, fine. You might want to figure that out a little bit so you don't keep doing it. But, I'm not going to sit here and rack my brain. Why do I keep coming up against these neighbors? It is what it is. I just got to figure out, well, first of all, I do know why. There's many reasons. But one of them is to find my voice and to stand up for myself and to not allow people to take advantage of me and take advantage of my energy. And, it goes on and on and on. But, the point of this card is, yeah, okay, you might get those sort of surface level meanings, but don't dwell on it and don't be like, oh, okay, everything, that's exactly, you can rest without having all the answers. You can move on and do the work you got to do without having all the explanation, okay? No matter what, whether you understand it or not, all is well. Everything is working the way it needs to, okay? Now, the final card we have before we get on to the crystal card is Remember Who You Are, Archangel Michael. You are a powerful, loving, and creative child of God. You are very loved. This is remembering your soul. This is remembering your soul. So if you feel the need this week to kind of retreat, this isn't to do it in like a dramatic way, like, please, everyone, just leave me alone. I need to meditate. I need to find myself. Let's chill out, okay? Let's not let the ego run away with us. And again, the ego is such a problem. It's probably a problem more these days than it ever has been. From what I said in the beginning, this is the selfie generation, okay? And we're all a part of it, whether you're actually you know, not to blame millennials for everything. Sorry, I didn't mean to imply that if that was coming across that way. But, you know, we are all a part of, we all take selfies. We all do this thing where we're, you know, getting well known by having our own Facebook page, right? Or whatever. And again, it kind of goes back into find yourself again, get centered, figure out what's really important. And that's not, I feel like that's becoming cliche, because I can tell you I've had this experience a few times where, and I don't even know that I can articulate it to you, but there's also in that moment no need to articulate it. It's just sort of, it is what it is. And I get it now, and I'm at peace with finding myself and finding my true self, my soul, which doesn't have all this identity. It doesn't have, my soul doesn't really have this face. It doesn't have this job. It doesn't live in this apartment. My soul is far more expansive than that, and so is yours. And I think that's what we're being asked to break open this week, this knowledge. You know, remember who you are. Remember all this stuff, you know. It doesn't need to define you. It doesn't need to torture you. You don't need to be traumatized by your human existence, okay? If that makes sense. Anything else on that, guys? Michael is saying very strongly, it's time to evolve. It's time to evolve. And again, because we're all in various stages of spiritual growth. And if, you know, you're out there and you're just getting started with all this and you're reading some of the more popular books out there, there's nothing wrong with that. That's good. But don't just stop there, okay? Make sure you're taking a very expansive look, including tuning into your own instincts and seeing how you feel about things, okay? This week is not about right fighting. It's not about being right, because everyone's right and everyone's wrong. Give it a rest. Don't even, okay? That's kind of the example I was giving you, where we have some know-it-all kind of spiritual people coming forward and be like, it's like this and like this and like this. One of the comments that really, talk about ego, my ego got a little like, excuse me, wait. Somebody wrote to me and said, the angels are predictive, Michelle. You're free to say whatever they're saying. They are predictive. They do tell you the future. I was like, I got my job. Thank you, and good night. Okay, but yeah, so I admit, like, my ego gets sparked about those spiritual things as well. So as you are maybe going through the journey of trying to figure out who you are, you might run across some of those things. Don't beat yourself up if the ego does spark up a little bit here and there. But for the most part, it's just remembering your soul, remembering you don't have to give in to all of this, and there's kind of a message here about, I don't want to put it that way, because it's going to sound rude, and I don't mean it in a rude way. It's not all about you, okay? It's not just about you and your family, okay? Because that's another kind of selfish thing, where it's like, especially these people who see, you know, obviously they see their family as an extension of themselves. So it's like, as long as they have what they need, and as long as their family has what they need, forget everybody else. And they're sort of, maybe some people are teaching their children to, you know, look out for you. This is exactly the kind of, you know, mindset that we are meant to break at this time. Okay. I do want to take a moment here too and thank everybody who is so loving and supportive. I posted earlier on Facebook kind of what was going on, and I got a lot of prayers, and you guys are really sweet, and thank you. I really do appreciate that. Oops. All right, hang on. Patience, pyromorphite. I feel like I want to pull another one, so let me just get one more for you. You know, it's funny. Yeah, this is a very chatty kind of message this week, but you know, they were up there making all kinds of noise, and then the second I started doing this, it actually for once it started calming me down a little bit. That's nice. Emerald, compassion. So there's 2 green cards here. Again, it's coming from the heart. This is your, you know, PowerPoint. PowerPoint. Oh, and I'm wearing green. How about that? But really opening your heart. And somewhere in your heart, you know, this is where all that love's going to flow out for everybody else. This very healing kind of energy. It doesn't even have to come at somebody with the intention of healing them, okay? It's just come from pure love, and let the love do what it needs to do. The love is smart, okay? It's going to know who to go to, who's ready to accept it, and it'll do what it needs to do for that person. Go ahead. Nothing? Hello? Come back. What were you saying? I have Raphael. Raphael's kind of laughing like, don't force anything to happen, I guess is what, yeah, because they're saying, I'll hold it up here in a second. But the patience card is saying, you know, don't force anything to happen. It's time to understand what the true nature of abundance is. And that if you can get to the point where you have that discovery this week, remember this week is just kind of the starting, the breaking open of all of this. It's going to continue on from next week. But when you realize what true abundance is, you'll realize that you have always been abundant. Okay, so here we go. Pyromorphite, patience. There's the first card. Emerald, compassion. Yes. Put your own needs aside just for a little while and tune into somebody else and start reconnecting with others. Okay, not in a false way, not in a, oh, let's, this is another thing I've seen too. I know this is a long message. I'm going to give it to you though. This is authentic. This is what we're doing. People will go, oh, let's get this circle together. Let's get this meditation group together. And then all it is a forum for like 1 or 2 people to control other people. All under the guise of spirituality and getting together and doing something energetic. Start looking for the falsehoods, guys. Okay? Brainwashing is occurring also in the spiritual community. Make sure you are, if you're in a heightened awareness state, you'll catch it. Okay, this when you get into that state where you can see things so clearly, it will make your life a little more difficult because you're not going to make friends as easily, because you're not going to, you know, give in to the love bombing. You're not going to give in to all that stuff, you know, and you're going to start observing that, wow, you know, you were just saying this about this person, then you went and you said this, kind of thing. You're going to see their duplicitous kind of nature and all that, but that's your pure you. Do you understand? And who cares what society says about how you are now presenting in the world? When you're tapped into your own authentic self, if nobody matches up with that and you have to walk the path alone for a while, do it. Okay? Well, it's like all hands on deck right now. No more nonsense. You know, again, stepping into your compassion a little bit more, being patient with others. That's a message for me too, right? Being patient with others, but being also patient. Right. They're saying humans are just too obsessed with the results. They're too obsessed with achieving and having something rewarded to them. Patience in your life. Patience. This is what's needed now. This needs to be the focus. Let everything else fall into place. Okay. There's maybe the longest video in all of Angel Soul's history. But I love you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging with me. Thank you for your patience. And have a good week, guys. Take care.